The King of the Ring tournament has officially started. Well, it started last week on Raw, so be sure to check out my previous Raw SmackDown highlights video to get a quick recap on what went down. We finally got an update on who Cody's next challenger will be, and we have a clearer picture as to where this tournament is headed. Before we jump into all the action, if you find yourself enjoying this video, please consider leaving a like. Not only will I be extremely thankful, but it will help with creating more future content on wrestling. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think of my recap. And what was your favorite Raw SmackDown moment this week? Okay, let's jump into the ring. The show opened up with Nick Aldis, who in my opinion is the best general manager right now. Hey, we are all entitled to our own opinions. If you disagree, please let me know why. So Nick Aldis introduced Cody Rhodes, but hold on a second. Do we see how Cody's been holding his belt lately? He holds it in this old school wrestling type style, giving it a more prestigious feel, but it kind of gives me heel vibes. I don't think we'll see it happen anytime soon, but maybe we'll see a heel Cody after WrestleMania 41. What do you think? Nick Aldis shortly after introduced Cody's next challenger at King of the Ring, Logan Paul, in a champion versus champion match, winner take all. Now, I'm not really sure about this one, people. Although I will admit, I have been enjoying Logan Paul's work lately, and I do think if he was willing to become a full-time wrestler, he could become one of WWE's top stars. But right now, we're supposed to be building Cody Rhodes' title reign, and I don't think Logan Paul will add to this. There are so much more formidable stars on the roster that would give Cody more credibility. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, or even continuing a rivalry with AJ Styles. And not to mention that Cody doesn't need the United States Championship right now. And even if he has both titles, what happens? We see him defend both titles in one night. We risk diminishing his reputation when he loses the US title. And how about the fact that this opportunity of a new US champion could go to other talent on the roster? I think the clear reason here is that Logan has a mass social media following, and from what I hear, he is also a big deal in Saudi Arabia. So on a business standpoint, this makes sense. And I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy Roman versus Logan back at Crown Jewel in 2022. So I do think this will be a good match, but I'm calling this right now. Cody versus Logan ends in a DQ. Nobody's taking any new championships home. Let's get into the first match at the King of the Ring tournament. Carmelo versus Baron Corbin. If you haven't been keeping up with NXT, at first glance you probably see Corbin and think, what's he doing here? But hear me out. Although Corbin did lose this match, he lost it after dominating the entire time and lost it to a roll-up pin, which in my opinion was the most anticlimactic match ending of the night. But Corbin came out to show us who he is now and that he is willing to climb back to the top no matter who's in his way. Earlier in the night, he brought up his previous monikers and letting us know he is not trying to bury them, but build onto them. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a doubter before I saw this match. I definitely haven't been keeping up with NXT. But now I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the main roster. In a turn of events, for Paul Heyman that is, Solo Sikoa finally gave some insight into this new tribal chief persona, letting the wise man know that although Paul hasn't spoken to Roman since WrestleMania 40, Solo has. And per orders of Roman Reigns, quote unquote, Solo is in charge until Reigns' return. So now Paul is Solo's wise man. But I don't know, people. I think The Rock has been pulling the strings lately. We'll see in due time. Match 2 of the King of the Ring tournament is Tama Tonga versus the Street Profits Angelo Dawkins. Tonga gets the win on this match with a distraction from the other Bloodline members, but my real reason for including this section, when is Jacob Fatu debuting? Let me know if you're looking forward to his future debut in the comments below. Quick side note, LA Knight defeated Santos Escobar at a live event over the weekend to advance to the quarterfinals match, leading to Tonga versus LA Knight later this week on SmackDown. First match of the Queen of the Ring tournament, Nia Jax versus Naomi. For the most part, Nia was controlling the match, eventually getting the win, advancing to the quarterfinals of the tournament. Nia continues to show why she is the irresistible force, while Naomi has kind of entered this weird losing / third wheel position. Since her return, she's been put in the spotlight multiple times, but always ends up with a short stick. Makes me wonder whether this is karma for the way she left WWE. Jade Cargill versus Piper Nevin, which in my opinion was one of the best matches of the week. I think this was probably Jade's longest solo match on the roster so far, with Piper controlling most of the match, but Jade continued with the fight in her to take the win. This sets up for Nia versus Jade in the quarterfinals. To be honest, Jade can't lose this match. The way WWE has been building her lately, a loss would definitely weaken her character. Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae. Well, this was obviously gonna end with Bianca winning. They tried to play the knee angle with Bianca to give Candice a chance, but it still felt kind of like a squash match. What do you think? Another side note, Tiffany Stratton defeated Mia Yim at a live event over the weekend, so we're getting a Bianca versus Tiffany in a quarterfinals match. Now, I'm a big Bianca fan, but I do believe she can take this loss. It's not really going to affect her status, and it's too early for a Jade versus Bianca match. That's definitely WrestleMania material. I think Tiffany needs to win this match. The main event, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton in the next part of the King of the Ring tournament. Both stars at the top of their game, trying to make it back to the top of the chain. This was, as Sheamus would say, a banger. But of course, the RKO out of nowhere to give Orton the win. Overall, one of the best matches of the week. My only complaint was that knee angle. We already saw it earlier in the night with Bianca. Just saying. This sets up for Orton versus Hayes later this week on SmackDown. I'm gonna say Orton takes the win here. I'm gonna make an early call and say Gunther versus LA Knight at the finals of King of the Ring. Tune into next week's video to see if I change my mind. So Raw kicked off with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest exchanging what I like to call fighting words, with Priest promising to give Drew a title rematch when he's cleared. It's looking like they're setting up a feud between the two, but Drew's already kind of in a feud with CM Punk, so I'm not sure where this is headed, but I will say, whether you like him or you hate him, Drew has become one of the top heels in WWE right now. He is consistently elevating himself and making sure he's always in the discussion. I think Drew deserves a solid title run, but right now is not the time. He needs to handle his business with CM Punk before getting into any other feuds. The quarterfinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament started off with Io Sky and Shayna Baszler, with Io getting the win. Now, with Damage Control's hype kind of dying down lately, I feel like Io definitely needed to bring this home for the team. Meanwhile, Lyra Valkyrie gained the win over Zoe Stark, earning her spot in the semifinals to face Io. Now, Valkyrie seems to be getting a push here, making it to the semifinals and aligning herself with Becky Lynch. Valkyrie is definitely winning this match. Now on to the tag team scene. New Catch Republic versus Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Jade McDonough versus the Creed Brothers versus the Final Testament. A fatal 4-way tag team match to determine the #1 contender to face Awesome Truth for the World Tag Team titles. This match was another banger. The tag team scene is insane right now. There are so many tag teams around, and this match showed some of the best in WWE. Judgment Day takes the win here with the help from Carlito. Yeah, you heard that right. Is Carlito trying to make his way into the Judgment Day now? We can save that for another day. Though what I really want to talk about here is how the Creed Brothers are being misused. The duo has potential to be one of the top tag teams on the main roster, with Julius Creed's agility and more technical style wrestling, and Brutus Creed's more aggressive wild style wrestling. With their team moves and combos, I can't help but feel that this team is not being used properly. What do you think? And what I believe should have been the main event, Kofi Kingston versus Gunther semifinals qualifying match. This match was awesome to watch, with Kofi getting the upper hand on Gunther and attacking his knee. I'm sorry, but again with the knee. Anyways, Gunther came out on top here, but Kofi's performance in the ring was top tier. Let's be honest, everyone. The last couple of years for the New Days have been rough, with them basically jobbing most of the time. So to see this type of performance from Kofi and Xavier Woods recently makes me excited for what's to come from the group. The final match of the night, Jey Uso versus Ilja Dragunov, semi-final qualifying match. Honestly, this match was solid, but I still stand on thinking that Kofi versus Gunther should have been the main event here. I don't know if it was just me, but the match felt safe, like both parties were still learning each other's style. I'm not saying that this is bad or that they didn't work well together, but if we were playing WWE 2K24's GM mode, I would definitely get told your main event wasn't the strongest match on your card. So for our semifinals match, we're getting Jey Uso versus Gunther. To be honest, I don't think Jey's story with the bloodline is over yet, and right now Gunther is on his rise to the top. Advancing and winning the King of the Ring tournament would solidify the Ring General's path to a WWE World Heavyweight Championship future. Overall, I think SmackDown was the top show of the week. I felt engaged and found myself caught up in the story. And with Raw, I don't know, is it me? Or is there just not much story going on right now? Anyways, I'll end on this note. I say Gunther takes the King of the Ring and Jade Cargill takes the Queen of the Ring. What are your thoughts on Raw and SmackDown this week? And who do you think will advance to the finals and take the crown? Next week, be on the lookout for a video on some of my favorite King and Queen of the Ring moments. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to leave a like.